mentality, how to stay calm in Rocket League, tilting, panicking, loss streaks. Can any of you relate to these frustrations? Any of these problems? Feel free to say aye.
Me.
Me immediately.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, yes.
Me. And you're gonna find that in the replay. 100%.
I love it. It's so important, guys. I was playing some games this weekend. For the first time in a long time, I've played like 5 hours of Rocket League. Many of you ask, Luke, why are you not SSL yet? And the main reason is just because I need to freaking get my hours up. I spend so much time coaching and making videos that I forget that you need to play the game to improve, especially at my level, right? And so I have, 4,000 hours in the game in Rocket League. I play games like Dota, almost 3,000. Fortnite, I have thousands. I've been gaming for 10 years. This is something that is so important to me. Look at what I found. Fortnite, how to stay calm under pressure. Stop choking fights. Spook Luke 6 years ago. Anybody? I came across this video. I was reminded of it this morning when I was in a team meeting. And guys, I've been talking about this for so long. I have a couple things I want to show you today because this is so important to me. And if you've ever played an online game, you know what I'm talking about. In Fortnite, you get to the last 10 players. All of a sudden, knees weak, arms sweaty, palms are sweaty, all of it. You get to Rocket League, we hit OT. It's 3-3. First goal wins. If you play Dota 2, late game, fights, you're in base, one fight could swing the game. League of Legends, if you guys play these games, it's all the same. And how to stay calm under pressure is such an important skill. And so today I want to talk about it. Has anybody seen this speech from Roger Federer? Does anybody recognize this? Put a 1 in the chat if you recognize the speech. Put a 2 if you don't recognize the speech. And put a 3 if you're confused. Rocket is too easy. Just lock in, says YouTube chat. Well played. For those of you who don't know, this is one of the best tennis players of all time. And he talks about this idea of perfection and how many people are confused on how it works. And I think the reason, I'll say this, and I believe it so to my core, I think the reason most people get super under pressure, me included, so tilted, frustrated, nervous, panicky, is because you don't understand how Rocket League and games work. So I want to show this speech from one of the best tennis players of all time. He gave this at a school to a bunch of students who are graduating. I think it's really, really impactful. So I'm going to play it here for you now. Take a look at this.
Perfection is impossible. In the 1,526 singles matches I played in my career, I won almost 80% of those matches. Now, I have a question for you. What percentage of points do you think I won in those matches? Only 54%. In other words, even top-ranked tennis players win barely more than half of the points they play. When you lose every second point on average, you learn not to dwell on every shot. You teach yourself to think, okay, I double faulted, it's only a point. Okay, I came to the net and I got passed again, it's only a point. Even a great shot, an overhead backhand smash that ends up on ESPN's top 10 playlist, that too is just a point. So here's why I'm telling you this. When you're playing a point, it has to be the most important thing in the world, and it is. But when it's behind you, it's behind you. This mindset is really crucial because it frees you to fully commit to the next point and the next point after that with intensity, clarity, and focus.
So one of the best tennis players in the world, he's saying it's only a point. So I think so many of us, we get frustrated in Rocket League because we don't understand how the game works. We don't understand how the game works. What do I mean by that? Well, we think in order to rank up in Rocket League, what do we think? We think we need to win every point. You whiff, you accidentally backflip when you're trying to go for a fast aerial, ball goes in your net, goal. You mess up on a kickoff, they get an immediate kickoff goal, you get tilted, you're frustrated, you play the rest of the game poorly. But what he's saying is he is one of the best tennis players in the world, and he's winning 80% of his games, and yet he's only winning 54% of his points. So translate it to Rocket League. What's happening is he's the best player in the world. He's Zen. He's winning RLCS. But what's actually happening is he's winning every game 4-3, 3-2, 5-4, 1-0. He's not winning every game 6-1. And I think what happens, I don't know if you guys can relate, but for me, I open up the game, we go down 2-0, 3-0 in the first minute or two, and I go, this is chalked. Or I backflip and I get nervous and I go, why did you backflip? You're so bad. How could you do this? And then I let it affect the rest of my game, and then I'm nervous, I'm anxious, and I do it again and again and again, and I start tilting. Then I start saying, wow, in the chat, take the shot. I don't often do this, but there have been times, I will admit, I'm not proud of it. Can anybody relate to what I'm saying? Put a 1 in the chat. People in YouTube chat, I'm getting some 1s are relating to this. So I want to show you a game. We have this idea of like these best players in the world. Whoever the best player in the world is to you. Obviously, NRG won this weekend. So whether you think it's Beast Mode, whether you think it's Zen, whether you think it's Drawley, whether you think it's Vatira, whether you think it's Rawas, TRK, Kalirs, any of these players.
Thank you.
And Woopo, whoever you think it is. Pick a top 10 player in the world based on your mind. You have this image of like they're this perfect player and they never mess up. And I saw this video from Arsenal yesterday that stuck out to me. He was reacting to some of Zen's best game. Zen's best games, number 3, 2 weeks ago. Watch this video, guys. I'm just going to show you a clip because I think it's so important. Remember this. The best players in the world, they win 80% of their games, but they only win 54% of their points. Does this make sense? Of their goals. They win the game, but they only win by a narrow margin. Watch what happens in this opening Zen game.
Today, we're going to be reacting to Zen has insane control. We're going to see Zen, his best 2v2 games, because right now he's going against Nwupo. So...
What just happened?
He overcommitted. One thing. Forget about the ball. Focused on boost.
Exactly
lift
right.
Play.
Yep, exactly right,
lift
Mo.
the play. Didn't look on the play.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I heard some people say overcommitted. Zen went boost over ball. One of the best players in the world. He went corner boost over ball. And it was a kickoff goal, so some will say he couldn't save it either way. A really tough position. One of the best players in the world goes boost over ball, goes down 1-0. How many of you would be frustrated and tilted from the start here? Boost over ball, you're down 1-0. And watch what happens the rest of this game. We go back.
It might be because I don't think people pay attention to bro. Like his boost control is insane.
Here goes
Great
tempo.
play from tempo.
They catch it up.
Especially
1-1.
from another Zen solo play. Oh, no way. Oh my God, yo. This might be Zen's best game.
This will be a kickoff goal.
Damn, what a dodge, yep. Takes his free goal. No boost making these plays. Tempo's awkward. Great first touch from Zen. Reset. Under. Oh my, bro. Zen is disgusting, bro. Yeah.
Spoiler, Zen wins. You watch that happen, and you go to yourself, he went down 1-0. He got kickoff goals. He could have tilted. He could have lost his composure, etc., etc. Clip, 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 clip. You know what I mean? And so many of us, we get in this mindset of, I have to win every goal. You know, we're so hard on ourselves, but that's not what Rocket League's about. Rocket League is about winning 51% of the goals. And yet you become this player that is one of the best. I just want to go over a couple things I've written down. 7 things that I think are so important to remember. The first one is, it's only a game. In Rocket League, it's only a goal. It's only one goal. So many of us, we get caught up in this. If we lose the goal, we're tilted. And you have to be focused on each goal. You have to be present. But once it's behind you, it's behind you. But what the goal is not to win every one of your games. It's to win 51%. A little bit more than you lose. And if you do that, you will rank up. You will improve. You need to learn to reset after each goal. Guys, I was talking to, for those of you who don't know, Rocket League is our first game, but we're in another video game as well that we're expanding into. I'm helping a creator there who's a close friend of mine. In this game, this guy could have been a pro player 5 years ago. He's top like 1,000 players in the world in Dota, maybe top 300, 400. And I was talking with him this morning, and I was like, dude, you are like top 300 or 400. Like he was showing me his rank. He's like, oh, I'm this rank. I'm like, oh my gosh, in Rocket League, like you are like, you could be pro. I was like, so why are you doing YouTube? Why did you decide not to be a pro? What he said was, yeah, man, I honestly, 5 years ago, I decided I didn't want to be a pro. If I had the mentality I have now, I would have been a pro. But he said, my number one fault was my mental game. I was a bad teammate. I couldn't stay calm under pressure. And I would let one mess up, one feed, one mistake ruin the rest of the game. And he could have been pro. You know, he's still a very top ranked player. But at this level, guys, it's all about mentality. And he made a joke. He said, you know what the formula is to have the best Dota team? And I'll translate it to Rocket League. You know what the formula is to have the best Rocket League team in the world? No more than one North American player. Because us North America, us people in US, we're selfish. We're independent. We're greedy. We all want to play solo plays. We all want to be the ones controlling the game, but we have weak mentals. So you look at a region like Europe or MENA, they play as a team. They're sacrificial. It's about the greater good. And he said, if I could have been a better teammate, I would have been a pro. And think about in your games, guys, how many times you weren't a good teammate because you got tilted about some stupid mistake. Maybe you backflipped. Maybe you got kickoff gold. Maybe you did a bad kickoff. And then you let that ruin your game. So you have to remember, the best players in the world, they don't not mess up like we all do. Zen, kickoff goal, immediately, down 1-0 because he went boost over a ball. And yet what happens? He gets back, clip, 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 win. So the first thing is it's only a game. You have to have that mentality. It's so important. The second idea is effortless is a myth. So I was playing Rocket League, guys, this weekend. One of the things I struggle with is I get really nervous as the game goes on and I try to play fast. Like I get really nervous while I'm playing and I try to play faster and faster, and I'll just show you guys some of my gameplay. I'm jumping for everything. I'm flipping at every ball. I'm panicking. And don't get me wrong, I was playing good. I went up about 100 MMR. But I just noticed I was jumping at everything, half flipping everywhere. You saw me use like 4 half flips in a row. But I was just jumping at everything, flipping at everything. And I realized when I get nervous, I try to play faster. But when you watch pros play, how are they playing, guys? Many of us watch a pro like Zen and we go, I could play like this. You know, how many of you guys have like watched a pro replay and then you get really hyped up to go play and you're like, I could do this. And then obviously you get in the game and it looks nothing like that. But the reason that happens, guys, is because when you watch pros play, it looks effortless. It looks easy. And the reason is because they're not trying to play fast. They're not trying to be fancy. They are effortless because they are moving slow. Slow is smooth. Smooth is fast. So rather than thinking, how do I press the buttons faster? How do I play faster? We need to think, how do I play smoother? How do I make better decisions? Right? How do I take in information better? And this leads into my third point, which I think is really, really, really important. Stop playing on autopilot. So I think the reason that we get so nervous in these games is because what happens is we get to overtime. We're very nervous. We don't know what to do. We're panicking. We know that the next goal wins. And so what we do is we get the ball and what do? We just slam it away. We're like, I don't want to get scored on. I just slam it away. And what we stop doing is we stop taking in information. Remember, guys, I had a conversation with one of our coaches here at the Rocket League Bootcamp, shameless plug, former North America MVP back in season 9. His name was Shock. He played on Ghost Gaming. And one of the things he taught me that I think has been the most valuable thing I've learned in Rocket League is the best players in the world don't just play faster than you. Sure, they have mechanics, but mechanics are learnable. The real difference is they take in information faster than you. So I'll give you an example. When you get the ball with open space, you say, I'm going to air dribble because I want to air dribble. But what Zen is doing is he's looking at his opponents. All right, he's taking in information and he's letting this information that he sees freeze. One guy up, I'm going to go low. He goes low. One guy low, I'm going to go high. And he's taking in this information, and this is what's allowing him to score. And so he's not just doing what he wants to do. The reason it looks effortless is because he's not playing on autopilot. Every decision he makes is based on the defense. So look here. He gets open space, and I'm not saying everybody can do this, but what did he just do? Look at his camera. He checks, how much space do I have? How much time do I have? Okay, they're both in there on the left side of the field. Nupo and Exotic are back there. So he goes, okay, I'm going to take time. He's looking again. You can see his camera move. He looks again. Okay, they're still both grabbing boost. I have time. He's going to let it bounce. He's going to get his perfect first touch. Then, as he's aerialing to this, he sees, okay, now Exotic is in the air. Watch what happens. Immediate flick to go over. Nupo is not expecting this. Nupo turns around. But at this point, Zen is already prepared for the 50 that Nupo's coming over. He's getting on the top left of this ball to spike it on him. And he's just taking in information and thinking one step ahead. And that's why you look at this and you go, this is disgusting.
Nice. Another Zen solo play. Oh, no way. Oh my god, yo.
It's ridiculous.
This might be Zen's best game.
He's ridiculous. He's ridiculous. And so the point is not that we can all play like Zen guys. The point is that taking in information is the key to playing faster. And the reason we play worse when we're under pressure is because we play on autopilot. We get nervous, and so we stop using our brain. But what we have to do is we have to take a deep breath and go, I'm not just going to slam the ball away. Where are the defenders? And you're making all your decisions based on where the defense are. So I think this is really important. Stop playing on autopilot and understand that to play better, you just have to take in information faster. The fourth tip that I have that I think is really, really important for people like me, something that's helped me a lot is it's just a game. When we get to the overtime, right, in Rocket League, when we get to the end of the match, we get nervous. Why? Because we want to win so bad. If you actually really think about it, it's like, why are you more nervous in overtime than at the start of the game? Think about it. It's still the same game. It's still the same opponents. It's still the same teammate. The reason you're nervous in overtime and not nervous at the start of the game is just because you know that the next goal wins. Doesn't make it any different. Then it's not like you should play the game differently. It's not like you should take in information differently. It's just your mental. And so for me, when I get nervous in overtime, something I have to remind myself is it's just a game. And here's how I do this. I want to show you guys a clip from my old Fortnite video. Check this out. This is awesome. So go look at this. This is me when I was 17 years old in high school saying it's just a game. So anybody who plays Fortnite, you'll appreciate this. Watch this clip.
Super lost in the game, thinking about all the different playing a video game, and go back into the game with a more confident approach. When you get to the late game in Fortnite especially, you can get super lost in the game, thinking about all the different things that could possibly happen.
So here I'm talking about the end game in Fortnite. If any of you have played Fortnite, there are 100 players in a lobby. Obviously the last 10 is like, who's going to win? Listen to what I say. Think of this as Rocket League overtime. Translate it.
What you need to do when this happens is take a deep breath and lower the stakes a little bit. Remember, you're playing a video game, and at the end of the day, whether or not you win this round isn't going to change your life, okay? So you need to put things into perspective and realize you're just playing a game. So the next piece of advice has been repeated by many different YouTubers, but I think it's so important that I can't really skip over it in a video like this. Basically, the piece of advice is if you find yourself getting nervous, especially in situations where there are only a few people left in the game, you need to lower how much you value winning the game. I'll say this again because this piece of advice is at the core of so many different problems I've had in Fortnite. In order to stay calm under pressure and get more enjoyment out of playing Fortnite, you need to lower the importance of winning the game in your head. I credit this change in mentality with solving so many problems I've had playing the game. If you get to the end game and all you care about is coming out with the win, you're going to stress yourself out way more than you should be. You're going to be panic building, your aim will be jittery, and you'll just be all over the place. In order to stay calm, you've got to reevaluate how much you care about winning that game. Because if that's your only goal, every time you get to the late game, you'll be a mess. Not only that, if you only value winning, for example, playing Fortnite is almost always going to be a frustrating experience. Because if you set that as your goal, you're going to be failing so frequently that there's no way you'll be able to keep your cool. Even the best players in this game aren't winning the majority of the games they play. You have to understand when you queue into the game, odds are you're going to die. So rather than setting your goal to win, set a goal to improve your skills each time you play. This way when you die, it's not always going to be a frustrating experience, and you can actually get something out of it when you die. Think about why you died, what you could have changed or done better. This is going to significantly improve your mental well-being while playing the game, and it will help you a lot in staying calm and focused in your games. Okay.
So there's some life advice from me, Fortnite YouTuber, Spook Luke, back when I was 17 years old in high school, before COVID hit. My point was that when you load into a Rocket League game, in Fortnite, there are 100 players that drop into the lobby. And so what most people think is, I want to win. But what you should be thinking is, I expect to die. It's most likely that if I queue into a Fortnite match, I am not going to win. So the goal isn't to win, it's to play as best as I can. It's the same thing in Rocket League, guys. So many of us go into Rocket League wanting to win so bad that we forget, odds are, when I go into this game, I am going to get scored on. Like, they're going to score a goal. They are going to get a kickoff goal. I am going to accidentally backflip once. Does this make sense? When you set the expectation of my goal is to play as best as I can, not to play perfect, you actually end up playing so much better. And this is why you get so nervous in overtime, right? Because you're expecting to win. And if you win, it's like relief, like I hoped that would happen. And if you lose, you're frustrated. So anything less than a win is disappointment. But if you can lower your expectation when you queue into the game to go, oh, I expect to get kickoff gold this game. When it happens, you're not going to be tilted about it. You're going to be like, oh, that was expected. I expect my platinum teammate to at least whiff one open net. Then when it happens, you aren't tilted. But it's because we have this expectation of ourselves to be perfect, of our teammates to be perfect, of our matches to be perfect. When our expectations are not met, we get this disappointment. So this is this next idea. You need to lower, if you're somebody who gets really nervous in overtime, which I think is a lot of us, not all of us. Some people are too relaxed, right? And they don't care enough. But I think a lot of us who, for example, are in my paid community and who care about, who are in the Rocket League Clubhouse, who care about improvement because we're in an improvement community, we actually sometimes care too much. And there's this idea in performance, in sports psychology, in esports psychology and video games, that you want to be an optimal level of pressure. So if you're somebody who gets too anxious, too high anxiety, too nervous, you need to reduce the level of pressure. Okay? If you're somebody who is too relaxed, who's not taking it seriously, well, we need to amplify the pressure for you. But for most of you guys who are in this live call with me in the Rocket League Clubhouse community, we get nervous, right? We care about improving. And so what we need to do is we need to relax. And the way you do that is you have to lower your expectations. You have to set more realistic expectations. Does that make sense? Expect to get scored on. Expect a kickoff goal to happen. Expect to accidentally backflip. Expect to whiff the open net. Because then when it happens, you go, oh, even Zen does this sometimes. And you go next. For those of you who watch RLCS, even Atomic whiffed the world championship game-losing goal last year. And this year he became a world champion. Fifth and final tip, because I think I've gotten through some of the most impactful things I can share with you today. Victories when you're not at your best matter the most. So I'll say this differently. Not every day you're going to be at 100%. But what happens is we hit this clip in free play, right? We perform really good in one game. We hit our highlight moment. And now we expect ourselves to always perform at our peak. But the reality is your skill is not your peak. Your skill is the average of your peak and your worst day. And so we're really hard on ourselves because some days we'll be tired, tilted, or distracted, right? And then we'll get upset at ourselves for being that way. I know I'm that way. But you have to remember, if you are a 7 out of 10 on a day, if you go into that day like you slept bad, you have a lot of stress, you have anxiety, giving 100% that day is being a 7. So on a day where you're feeling 7 out of 10, let me give you a better example. On a day where you're feeling 2 out of 10, you just don't feel great. Giving a 2 out of 10 performance is giving 100. It's like the same idea if you guys are workout or into fitness. On a day where you're feeling crappy, just showing up to the gym is the win. But what happens is because we have free play, because we have clipping, because we watch all these people on YouTube and we see these insane clips, our peak is what we expect and we don't give ourselves grace when we're tilted, tired, etc. So you have to understand those days are where you win. That's where you build discipline. That's where you improve your tolerance for tilting. That's where you improve your mental. That's where you become a better player. It's on those days where you're a 4 out of 10 and you could get mad at your teammate, but you don't because you did everything we said in this video. That's how you expand your skill as a player, as a Rocket League player, as a teammate, right? And a person. And if you can do these things, you'll become better at Rocket League. You'll become better at life. You'll become a better teammate for other people in the community, for your friends, for significant others even. And like, my friend who probably could have been a Dota 2 pro, who ended up not being a pro, you can achieve your goals. Because if you can't get the wrap on your mentality, none of the other skills, the mechanics matters. Because you're just not going to have capacity to learn it. You can't learn when you're tilted. You can't learn when you're frustrated. So you have to learn these skills that we talked about today to have an even baseline. So that way you can be learning and improving. And so I hope this little clinic on mentality, tilting, frustration, staying calm was helpful. I'd be very interested. People on YouTube chat, share whatever your highlight moment was of this conversation. Folks in Discord, feel free to give a shout. I would like somebody who hasn't spoken yet. Share with me your biggest light bulb moment from our conversation today. What was the most impactful? What was the most helpful?
Mainly for me, like, composure is the number one thing. Just be with a good mentality. Sometimes expect the worst. Don't expect the goods. Like, that's what I think from, like, if I'm gonna summarize everything.
Yep. I think expecting the worst is so important, especially if you're watching, guys, and you're not at SSL, top level, pro level, even GC level. You need to go into your games expecting that you're going to whiff. Expect that your teammates are not going to be good.
Though.
Even a GC. Expect that your team. I mean, you look at a player like, that's a great point. Look at a player like Atomic. One of the best players in North America. Definitely one of the top players in the world. He obviously just won a championship with Beast Mode and Daniel. They won the RLCS this weekend. For those of you who missed it. $300,000, $100,000 to each of them on the team. The year before, he had a game-losing whiff. He flipped the wrong way. He flipped the wrong way. The ball went in the net. They lost the world championship, literally. And yet, he's a pro. So if a pro flips the wrong way at the world championship, it's okay that you and your plat teammate flip the wrong way a couple times in your games. You know what I mean? So I think that's a great point, Mo. Lower your expectation. Be realistic. Treat yourself and your mentality like you would a friend, right? We're often very, very hard on ourselves, and we have unrealistic expectations of ourselves, of our teammates. I see one YouTube chat comment from G Fox. He said, anticipating a few ugly plays isn't going to ruin my whole session. Exactly right. You have to anticipate a few ugly plays. I was talking with this Dota 2 YouTuber, and he was telling me what would happen is he would feed, right? So in this game, it's, I don't know if many of you played Dota or League of Legends, but imagine you go in and you die, right? So he would die, and then he would let that death tilt the rest of his game. But you have to anticipate that you're going to do that, and you almost have to be able to look at yourself and go, oops, that was stupid. Or in Rocket League, right, you get kickoff gold, you flip the wrong way on kickoff, it goes straight in your net, you jump over the ball accidentally. I know we've all done it. I do it. You have to go, oops, my bad. And then you go next, right? Because it happens to everybody. You go boost over ball, you go, oh, I'm a little bit of an idiot. But you say it in that way, right, where you're like, oh, I'm a dummy. But you're not like, oh, I'm stupid, I'm the worst, I got to fix this. Because there's a difference in how you do those two things, how you speak to yourself. Anybody else want to give a shout? See a couple people tune in. Pulse, I think we got Viscous in here.
I think the bit about how your wins when you're playing at your worst was interesting to me, because I guess I've always looked at that as, not necessarily at my worst, right? Like, but on an off day where it's like, oh, I got carried, right? Like, oh, I just got teamed up with a good teammate, he carried me. But in reality, it's like, my floor is improving enough that even when I'm at what I'm not considering like the standard I hold myself to, that I'm still able to like perform and be consistent. Like, your consistency level is what you're looking for more than like your peaks, because anyone can have a day where they're peaking and like, you know, go up 200 MMR, but it's the fact like the consistent steady growth of like what's a lot more important.
Yes, it's so true. I think that's a really mature view on it. It's like, yeah, so you weren't playing your best, but you still did the fundamentals. You were still supporting your teammate, right? You might have been worse mechanically that day, but you're improving other aspects of your game. So it's like, yeah, like improving your floor, it's so important. And that will make you a better player. Because then on the day when you do have your mechanics, right, you're going to be that much better.
I think that was really obvious this weekend too, where like I think everyone can agree that Falcons' peak is way, way better than anything that NRG had to offer, but NRG's floor is just that much better. So like when it came down to like moments of pressure, like Falcons just weren't like executing on the basics, whereas like they can absolutely do the most difficult shots and have the highest potential, but whereas NRG was just like, you know, they were just consistently better the entire tournament.
So true. So true. The one instance of it's better, I guess it's good to have 3 NA players. They broke the narrative. Normally, I would say the ideal Rocket League team is one North American who's greedy and chasing the ball, and then you have a bunch of other Europeans who are very team players. But this weekend, we saw 3 North Americans get along and pass each other the ball, which may or may not ever happen again in Rocket League history. So I agree.
I said that I was with Shock. We were like talking about the region of NA, and I said NA is gonna peak this world, 100%, because they were consistent, like teammates. They were like doing good plays. They were like main goal is just win, no mistakes. Like less mistakes, you win. So that's what they did. They do all the time. All the like I saw all their games. They were like just going for at least 1% risk.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's that idea of like that floor, right?
Yeah.
I think it's so important. Really good observations.